Imagine this. You decide to do a simple experiment. For 30 days, you will eat 4 eggs a day, every single day, without fail. It seems easy, right? But then comes the question that most people immediately have. Won't this clog my arteries? My cholesterol won't explode? Is this healthy or is it madness? For decades, eggs were treated as villains. Doctors urged people to avoid them. Newspaper headlines warned of the dangers. And many people, out of fear, replaced eggs with industrially produced substitutes full of ingredients they can barely pronounce. But science went ahead. Studies were done. And what the researchers discovered completely changed what we knew about this food. In this video, you'll discover what happens to your body when you eat 4 eggs a day for 30 days, week by week. Stick around until the end, because there's a point about cholesterol that most people have never heard of, and it could change the way you see this food forever. Before discussing what happens to your body, it's important to understand what you're putting into it. 4 eggs. It seems simple, but the nutritional profile of this food is impressive. In 4 medium-sized whole eggs, you have approximately very high-quality protein. Each egg contains about 6 grams of protein. In 4 eggs, that's approximately 24 grams, containing all the essential amino acids that the human body needs and cannot produce on its own. Egg protein is used as a scientific benchmark for quality. It's the standard researchers use to compare other protein sources. Healthy fat. 4 eggs contain about 20 grams of fat, most of which is unsaturated fat, the same type found in olive oil. This fat is essential for hormone production, vitamin absorption, and proper brain function. Vitamin D eggs are one of the few natural foods that contain significant amounts of vitamin D. Vitamin B12, essential for the nervous system, for the production of red blood cells, and for cellular energy. Those who don't eat meat or dairy often have difficulty reaching the ideal amount of B12, and eggs are an accessible source. Hill. This is the nutrient that almost no one mentions, but it makes a huge difference. Choline is essential for liver function, memory, and brain development. Most people don't consume the recommended amount of choline, and 4 eggs a day already cover practically the entire daily requirement for an adult. Lutein and zeaxanthin. These are concentrated antioxidants in the yolk, which have a proven role in eye health. Studies published in specialized scientific journals show that these compounds help protect the retina and may reduce the risk of macular degeneration, one of the leading causes of vision loss in older people. Selenium, phosphorus, vitamin A, B complex vitamins. In summary, the egg is one of the most nutritionally complete foods that exist. Gram for gram, it offers a nutritional density that is difficult to find in any other food at such an affordable price. For many years, the logic seemed simple. Eggs contain cholesterol. Cholesterol is bad for the heart. Therefore, eggs are bad for the heart. The problem is that this logic is incomplete, and science has spent the last few decades showing this. Here's what really happens in your body. When you eat foods that contain cholesterol, your liver detects this increase and, in most people, reduces its own cholesterol production to compensate. The body has a regulatory system. It's not passive, it responds. This mechanism has been documented in several studies. A review published in American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, it concluded that, for most healthy people, moderate egg consumption does not significantly increase cardiovascular risk. Another important point, cholesterol is not a single enemy. There is LDL, which in excess can be deposited in the arteries, and HDL, which helps remove this deposit. What several studies show is that consuming whole eggs tends to increase HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, in addition to changing the profile of LDL particles to a form less associated with cardiovascular risk. This doesn't mean cholesterol doesn't matter. It does. But eggs, on their own, aren't the villain they've been portrayed to be for decades. An important observation. People with familial hypercholesterolemia, a genetic condition that affects cholesterol metabolism, or with type 2 diabetes may have a different response to high egg consumption. If you have either of these conditions, talk to your doctor before making any significant dietary changes. This video is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for individualized medical advice. Now you will understand, week after week, what eating 4 eggs every day does to your body. The first week begins. What your body senses first is satiety. The combination of protein and fat found in eggs is one of the most effective ways to keep hunger under control for hours. Studies comparing a high-protein breakfast with a breakfast rich in simple carbohydrates show that the group with more protein consumes fewer calories throughout the day, without having to make an effort to do so, simply because hunger takes longer to return. In practice, this means that those who eat eggs for breakfast tend to arrive at lunch without that urgent hunger, and those who arrive at lunch without urgency eat more calmly and in smaller quantities. In addition to satiety, in the first week, you may notice a stabilization in energy levels. This happens because protein and fat are digested more slowly than refined carbohydrates. Instead of an energy spike followed by a drop, you have a more constant supply throughout the day. Your body, in this first week, is adapting to a dietary pattern with more protein and more nutrients. The changes are subtle, but they are happening. Starting in the second week, the changes begin to appear in more noticeable ways. Egg protein plays a direct role in maintaining and building muscle mass. When you consistently consume quality protein, your body has the materials it needs to repair and strengthen muscles, especially if you engage in physical activity. At the same time, increased satiety tends to reduce the consumption of ultra-processed foods, which can promote a gradual reduction in body fat. The effect surprises many people. The vitamin A present in eggs plays a fundamental role in skin cell renewal. Biotin, a B-complex vitamin present in egg whites, is known to contribute to the health of skin, hair, and nails. It's not magic, it's biochemistry. With adequate nutrients, the body has what it needs to keep cells healthy. The third benefit is directly related to concentration and brain function. Choline, that nutrient we mentioned earlier that almost no one talks about, is a precursor to acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter directly linked to memory, learning, and concentration. When the body has enough choline, this production works better. Many people report feeling clearer, more focused at work, and less mental fog. Before we continue, if you're finding this content helpful, click Follow Now. Here on this channel, we bring you science-based information in simple language to help you make better decisions about your health. There's already a lot of great content waiting for you. Now let's continue. We've already discussed how the relationship between eggs and cholesterol is more complex than it seems. Now let's be more specific about what studies show in terms of numbers. Studies conducted with healthy individuals who consumed eggs daily for periods ranging from 4 to 12 weeks show varying results, and this is important to acknowledge. Science is not uniform on this point. For most people without pre-existing health conditions, LDL may increase slightly in some cases, but the shape of the particles tends to change to a type called large, buoyant LDL, which is less associated with clogging arteries than small, dense particles. HDL tends to increase, which is positive from a cardiovascular standpoint. Triglycerides, which are an important marker of cardiovascular risk, generally do not increase with egg consumption, and may even decrease when eggs replace refined carbohydrates in the diet. For a smaller group of people, called hyper-responders, cholesterol levels may rise more significantly even with liver regulation. This is a genetic phenomenon, not a general rule. The main message here is this: eggs don't act the same way in everyone. And the best way to find out how they affect you is to talk to your doctor and have regular checkups. What population data shows, looking at large groups over years, is that egg consumption alone does not appear as an isolated factor of elevated cardiovascular risk in healthy populations. So far, we've talked about protein, cholesterol, and energy. But there are benefits of eggs that rarely come up in everyday conversations, and that deserve attention. The first of these is eye health. The lutein and zeaxanthin present in egg yolks accumulate in the retina and lens of the eye. Studies published in ophthalmology journals show that adequate levels of these compounds are associated with a lower risk of age-related macular degeneration and cataracts. With an aging population, this is an increasingly relevant benefit. The second is liver health. Choline plays a direct role in liver health. It participates in the transport of fats out of the liver, preventing the accumulation that can lead to hepatic steatosis, popularly known as fatty liver. One of the main causes of choline deficiency in adults is precisely low dietary intake, and eggs are one of the richest and most accessible sources of this nutrient. The third is bone health. The vitamin D present in eggs contributes to calcium absorption and the maintenance of bone density. In a context where many people spend little time in the sun and have low vitamin D intake, eggs become an important ally. And the fourth benefit is mood and sleep. Eggs contain tryptophan, an essential amino acid that the body uses to produce serotonin, the neurotransmitter of well-being, and melatonin, which regulates sleep. It's no exaggeration to say that a consistently nutritious diet with adequate sources of tryptophan contributes to a more stable mood and better sleep. Is there a risk in eating 4 eggs a day? For most healthy people, current scientific evidence does not indicate that consuming 4 eggs a day poses a significant risk. Major health organizations around the world, including the World Health Organization and the American Heart Association, have revised their recommendations over the years as new studies have been published. For some people, more caution is needed. Type 2 diabetes. Some studies suggest that people with type 2 diabetes may have a different response to dietary cholesterol. If you have diabetes, talking to your doctor or nutritionist about egg consumption is essential. Familial hypercholesterolemia. Those with this genetic condition have a cholesterol regulation system that functions differently. In this case, medical monitoring is essential to determine the appropriate intake. Established cardiovascular disease. If you have already been diagnosed with heart disease, follow-up with a healthcare professional will determine the most appropriate individual recommendations. One point that deserves attention. What you eat along with the egg matters just as much as the egg itself. An egg fried in vegetable oil, accompanied by processed bacon and white bread, carries a set of factors that goes far beyond the egg itself. The context of the entire diet is what truly defines the impact on health. This video is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any health condition. Always consult a doctor or nutritionist before making significant changes to your diet, especially if you have a pre-existing health condition. The 30th has arrived. The experiment is over. What can you expect in terms of results? For most healthy people who maintained a balanced diet and included 4 eggs daily over the course of a month, the most commonly reported and documented effects are appetite control, less hunger throughout the day, less craving for ultra-processed foods in the mid-afternoon, and greater ease in maintaining appropriate portion sizes at meals. Body composition, maintaining or increasing muscle mass, especially relevant for those who exercise. In some cases, a gradual reduction in body fat, favored by the increased satiety and nutritional profile of eggs. Energy stability throughout the day, without the peaks and troughs associated with diets high in sugar and refined carbohydrates. Skin and hair. Gradual improvement in skin texture and hair quality in people who had deficiencies in B vitamins, vitamin A, or biotin. Cognitive function. A subjective feeling of increased mental clarity and focus, especially in people who previously had low choline intake. Health markers. For most people without pre-existing conditions, blood tests do not show deterioration in the lipid profile, and in many cases, there is an improvement in HDL. But this varies from person to person, and tests are the only way to know for sure what is happening in your body. The 30-day review isn't about radical transformation. It's an accumulation of small improvements that, added together, make a real difference in quality of life. After all this, we arrive at the question that has been in the air from the beginning. Is the egg an ally or a villain? The honest answer is, for most healthy people, eggs are an ally. An accessible, nutritious, versatile ally, backed by decades of scientific research that has gradually corrected the myths created in previous decades. Eggs gained favor with the scientific community not because of industry lobbying, but because studies were conducted, data was analyzed, and the evidence outweighed the prejudice. This doesn't mean you need to eat 4 eggs a day. It means that, if you want, you can do so guilt-free, provided you don't have any health conditions that require specific restrictions, and provided your doctor is aware of your diet. Healthy eating isn't about a single food, it's about the whole package. Eggs, as part of a varied diet rich in vegetables, fruits, quality proteins, and low in ultra-processed foods, contribute positively to health. If you were already avoiding eggs for fear of cholesterol, I hope this video has given you more complete information to make your own decisions, always in dialogue with the healthcare professionals who are monitoring you. If you've made it this far, you already know a lot more about eggs than most people. And that's exactly our goal here on the channel, to bring you quality information based on science. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel now. Here we answer what happens if type questions about health, nutrition, and the human body every week. And tell me in the comments, do you eat eggs regularly? Had you heard about choline or lutein before? Leave your comments below. I love reading them. Until the next video.